The mystery of Bitcoin having a low in place here, as wave one moving to the upside, then an ABC, and then moving up through here, or is this whole rally here just wave C here and we'll end up making a new low down here first? Well, when I look at the markets across the board, it does appear, I mean, well, first of all, this Bitcoin's been treated, just like one of the NASDAQ tech stocks, isn't it? One of the new sort of inventions, so to speak. And so in that case, it can follow the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ had its low around here on the 13th, 14th of October. And it was moving up in line with everything until Sam the man done his dash and dropped it down, and it sort of picked back up in a way. So when we have a look at the NASDAQ or the S&P, I've just got the S&P here, they're pretty much the same. So we've got the 14th low over here. So this was moving along quite nicely here, had a bit of a dip down, and then it sort of moved off again. So we've been in this particular trend here that I haven't seen. I don't think that it's over yet. It's still building to the upside. And even when it builds to the upside, it'll be a wave 3 here, then a wave 4, and then a wave 5. So what I'm saying is that, 90 odd percent of the time, the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Bitcoin have all kind of moved together. And I just see the S&P and the NASDAQ moving up together. I mean, we can look at the NASDAQ as well while we're here. It's the same. This is the NASDAQ here. It's the same story, just because it's a bit cleaner. So yeah, it's just still moving to the upside. So I would imagine Bitcoin will pretty much do the same thing. So as a betting person with these tech stocks, and I don't come to these counts lightly. I look at all the big tech stocks every day, and and so on. I've got a good feeling for, or not feeling, but I've got a good sense of, what those big tech stocks are doing in a sense. And yeah, we're still building a case to the upside. It's not this move. The US markets have been very slow to move to the upside, where the European indices have just really moved, straight up to the upside. So if we look at the DAX here on a daily chart, and I'm just using this as an example, this is the same October lows here. So we've been trending up here. The FTSE's been doing the same. The Australian markets, from where I am at, they've been doing the same. So it's only really the US that have been dragging their feet in all of this, and I think that they've been catching up while the other markets have been sort of stalling a little bit. But I think Bitcoin can pretty much do the same as well. Now, it's as you can see here, if we have a look at the volume on the futures market here, let me just get this in here. So this is Bitcoin CME futures, and with this here in mind, we can see that we've had the strong trend up, and it's been increasing in volume. And then we've got these, this is weekly, by the way. So we've got these, because it's a little bit messy up here on the intraday, isn't it? But when you sort of look at this here, it's like, it's quite clear that we got wave 1 here and 2 here. So this really does look all like the third wave in here, and a fourth wave developing, and then a fifth wave. And, these bars, there's only 2 bars here, of course. We're only halfway, well, not even halfway through this week. But the thing is that we have these last 2 bars here from this top. The price has been coming down, but also the volume's been diminishing as well. So corrections are on lower volume, and to me this is corrective here. Now, it doesn't mean, it can do its little thing here and have a little fifth wave up here. There won't be much. We're talking about the 25,000. And then it's likely to have sort of an ABC and come back and test that support where it's off there, But I think that's kind of what we're looking at. If I line everything up with you know, this market with everything else, then this would be probably the right way to view all of this. You know, the other point here too, just have a look at the, while we're on the CME futures here, we can see out of all of these here, not to worry about too much of them. It's just really these hedge funds here. You know, they're the ones that like to squeeze, you know, the retailers out. So what we're seeing here, we have seen an increase in futures contracts here by 1,000 odd, but there's not a big difference now between having, you know, 7.6 here and 5.6 over here. You know, it's that gap is closing to me. So I think that's kind of interesting. Like I said, the rest of it's important, but these are it's this one here that's important, as I've mentioned before, but it's good to repeat things. So we're just going to have a closer look at that. So this leverage fund, leverage money here, these are the two here. So there's still some weight up here, but at the same time, you know, what we're seeing in the volume here, they're holding shorts and they're adding to them, and it'll probably drop here or drop over here. They'll add to it up here higher and all of those sort of things, because they can see, you know, they can see the numbers, you know, they can see the volume, but they're not in here yet. We're not seeing increased volume to the downside. So if I just scroll down here a little bit further. So this green one here, I think that's the leverage money, the green one here. So I can see that from here, from October, they've been building positions here. This is net positions. I'll just have a look at the long positions here. So you see sorry for all this mess. See the green one here that's going through. You can see the increasing on the longs here since like August, or even more so here, you know. So that gap of the shorts and the longs to me is actually closing, and this is the net short positions here. So even though the short positions are rising a little bit over the short term here because of that top, and they will take advantage of that, yeah. So anyway, I think that's closing. This distance here is closed up a little bit here. So that's a good sign overall for that. But we still need this whole move here. This whole move here is on increased volume, so that's bullish, and this is on diminishing volume. So, you know, there's going to be. Look, I'm not perfect, but I can certainly see that this trend needs to be corrected. Now it can do this and have another high and then pull back up here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and move up that way, but I can't prove that yet. We could actually come down from that point. That's the risk of the whole thing, you know. This could be an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave up here, and then come down and make a new low. That's certainly possible. We won't know until we can take out this. If this is an ABC coming back here, we take out this little top here for that. So it's still a mystery of what's going to go on here, but I'm just looking at who's coming into the market, what the rest of the world is doing, all of that sort of thing, and it's kind of telling me that, you know, we can be pushing up here further, but I can't prove that, and it's only, you know, it's only the guessing game at that point, you know. So I don't know at this point, you know. So we can look at all of this until the cows come home, and we've been doing that. So at this here, this is where we spoke last time about this, where we're looking for, let me just clean this up a little bit. It's been a while since I've done a video on this. Kitty Pond's been doing such a good job on the crypto, so I can take it easy on this one and focus on other things. But so we've got this wave 1 and 2 here, and possibly wave 3 here with an A wave here, B wave up here, and a C wave here for this wave 4. Now obviously we can also look at this in terms of you know, don't take it from the high. If that was the case, that move there appears to be in 3 waves, but see the 38.2% retracement level is still down here really. So we can take the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and then put that here, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I know the US dollar's pushing up, but I don't think that's going to do much damage here. All we need to do is count 5 waves down here, and I think this is kind of interesting really, because when we look at this being a wave 4 here. And this could still climb up here further as well, by the way. I'm just doing the basic textbook thing of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction ABC, and it may not even pull back this far either. You know, it might just come back. You know, if this pushes, let's just say this pushes up here higher, then we would end up with, you know, an ABC that would probably end up being a little bit more sort of sticking to this wave 4 business over here and be here. And that's really quite interesting, because when we look at the, let me just clean my desktop up here. What have we got over here? Let me just move this here. That's not that one. Okay, I've just got to find this for a second. Oh, I can use the text docs here. That's good. So this wave 4 here, for example, and do I have another one over here? Just sort of like shooting the breeze here a little bit. So when we have, you know, and there's stocks like Tesla that needs to go through this particular pattern here as well, and Meta is another one that needs to go through this pattern as well. So we can have this situation here, right? This kind of thing here, and then we'll have there'll be another wave 4 after that. Now it could be further up, further down, but what I'm saying is these wave 4s can get a bit complicated. So while this is doing this here and holding up reasonably well here, because they all technically should be holding up above that wave 4, I tend to find most cases that the wave 4s can shift up a little bit, you know, and be on a bit more of an angle to the upside. But when you think about these doing this here and continuing to move up, then we can consider this scenario is not too far off the frame either at that point, you know. So we can put the wave 1. So just, you know, you could label these 3, 4, and 5 and all the rest of it, but yeah, so it's slightly different. So it could be like that as well. It doesn't have to pull back down here, but I think we should expect it, expect the worst and hope for the best, that type of thing, and we'll just track it as we go. So the other thing here is that I know it's possible to put wave 4 here, and I know it's possible to put wave 3 here, and I know it's possible to put this over here, and I know that's possible to put this here as such, and tidy that up there and look for this 1 and 2 at this point here. So that's possible for this to come down right now. Doing that, and that would be sort of in line with the Euro USD and the cable and the Aussie, and all the Forex stuff is pretty much like that as well. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes a little bit first. Let's go in and have a closer look at this. I'm not sure what I've updated, but we'll just go in and have a look at my mess here. This is one way of looking at it, having wave 3 here with an ABC for wave 4, but I don't really get a nice 5-wave structure here. Yeah, sure, I could go 1, 2 and then squeeze it in over here, but it doesn't really kind of look right to me, you know. Let me just have a look on 10 and 5. It may be updated, or maybe not. That's still the same one. So on 5 here, hopefully will be a bit of a different story. Yeah, so this is a bit of a different story here. This is wave 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, and then looking at this as an A and a B and a C here for the A wave, and ABC for the B wave, and down for the C wave here. This would sort of line up with what's happening with the NASDAQ and the S&P, and there'll be 5 waves in here roughly somewhere. There might even be another low in here actually, but coming down into this one here somewhere. But let me just see, that's 1 and 2 there. I suppose I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for there, and then look at that as the 3rd, 4th and 5th maybe. Anyway, not to worry too much about that. What it's trying to do here is trying to find support on number 3 here, 23, which is the top of group 1, and I wouldn't turn bearish unless this number here became the resistance at this point, you know. And yeah, so we can still push up from here to have that wave 5 up here. It's not a big deal anyway, because what we're actually waiting for in one way or another, we can put wave C up here, we could put this over here and call this wave 1 top and wave C here. It quite simply doesn't really matter at this point, because even if this was wave 1 up here, we'd still need to get would still need to move down here for a larger ABC correction coming back into this base. So we'd need to look at this as wave 1 here, 2 here, sorry, an ABC back, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So we wouldn't know if it was going to be bearish and keep going at this point unless it took out that B wave top there. Because if it's wave 1 here and wave 2 here, it would be a 5-3-5 structure. So we wouldn't know anyway. So we'll just have to wait to find out if we're going to be bullish at that point or further bearish, and then this would be a C wave over here, and we'll look for a bigger bear picture. So it doesn't matter if it does this, this, and this and ends up here, because we still wouldn't know what the bigger picture is technically. Or if it pushes up here, then we still wouldn't know at this point. We'd still have to wait for some type of corrective move back again, which will definitely, definitely, can you say definitely in the markets? Well, definitely there's some good support here, that's for sure. So it would probably be something like that, you know. So we'll see how that sort of holds. So we need that ABC correction, either this one here or this one here, and then it's only after that we're taking out the second high here or this high here that would find out that we're going to be bullish at that point. So there's a long way to go yet before we can, you know, really give it some clarity on all of this. And, you know, we just have to be patient. We have to allow the market to come to us, and we don't need to chase it at this particular point. And yeah, so that's it. I mean, there are lots of markets that are topped at the moment, like gold is coming down for an ABC correction. That's because the US dollar is pushing up at that particular point as well, and applying pressure to things. I mean, we can just have a quick look at the US dollar as well while we're here, because they're all important. They're all kind of connected to each other. So this is the US dollar. So this October tops here. This is basically where Bitcoin, before Sam Bankman-Fried got involved in messing our trend up a little bit, but all the other markets around the world come in around, well, gold was on the had its low on the 26th of September. All the stock markets were a little bit into October at that point. Some of them were, you know, they're all around this particular top here. So this top has been very important, and what's happening at the moment is we're getting a 5-wave rally here. So we'll either have an A, B, C to this point, and then we'll come back down, or we're going to have 5 waves up here and then a correction and then up. So that's the thing with Bitcoin. I don't know if we're going to get this in reverse or we're going to get this one here. So there's good cases for both of them when I have a look at the FX market and the resource market, the gold or commodities, because obviously commodities are traded in US dollars. They play a part in this. Everything gets rebalanced in price terms and so on. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at the moment for that. It's just good to sort of bring them all together a little bit. So we can have a look at Ethereum as well. Now, don't pay any attention to this data spike up here, which was this data provider hasn't cleaned up their data. But basically the same thing. From the low here, we've got wave 1, and we don't need all of these now. Too many objects on the chart, so I'm just going to ditch these. And we've been looking up here as 1 and 2, and then the third wave up, I'll put it to here, and then an ABC for the fourth here. Now with Ethereum here, it's got a bit better of a 5-wave structure up here, not much better because I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but either way, I could put a top in here as the top. Or I could look at this as an ABC pattern coming down here, not the very best sort of ABC pattern. Traders can go long above that if they wish. But yeah, so we'll see if this is up for 1, back for 2, 3, 4, 5, moving up here higher for this here. But yeah, look, it does make a nice 4th wave in here. The 5th wave here is a little bit short compared to this wave 1 here. So I think that we're still in amongst all of this here. But yeah, worst case scenario with this market, if we did take that as the top here, if that indeed was the case, then we would pull back down into this 50-60% area over here for that, and then we'd have to work out as well, the same with Ethereum as well. Do we have you know, are we going to, is it going to go to that point? And then we can only confirm bullish if that's taken out at that point. I mean, we could do it before that, but just I'm just saying technically, you know, that's it. So look, it has been a long, laborious top here, but the market has held up quite nicely, so that's a really good sign. Let's just see if we this ABC is what we're waiting for. We either get it here now, right now we get it next, or we'll have this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And if that's the case, then we have to wait over here for that. You know, we have to wait for that, for this ABC. That what will come back down to this, will come back down to this whole support area here. And then we'll have to see if it moves up from that point and takes that top out. Then we'll know we're bullish at that point. So either way, we've got a long way to go with all of this. So yeah, I just think chillax and we'll, you know, let it come to us. And it's not like we're going to miss anything. But if it is going to be a bull run, we're going to be all over it, you know. But we can't confirm it yet. But as I mentioned, looking at the US stock market, it kind of saying to me that, you know, we're pushing up, and not just the tech stocks, the banks as well, Goldman Sachs and you know, the Bank of America and all of those sorts of things. You know, they're all sort of displaying that more positive role there. And when we had a look at the DAX, I mean, it had 5 waves up off the October low. You know, I mean, it's going to have a correction and then deliver another 5 waves to the upside. And you know, not only the DAX, we can have a look at the euro as well, because it's really, you know, it's let's just go to the euro here for a moment, because it's nice to see them all working together. You know, these, once again, these are the October lows here. We've been looking up here for wave 1 and 2. This is the opposite of the US dollar. And then we've just been looking for the ABC, and we're saying to ourselves now, well, looks like 5 waves down. So do we get a B wave and a C wave here? Is that it? And we go up from that point, you know? So yeah, all the markets are sort of, you know, Bitcoin's been doing the same thing in its own way. You know, its October low got a bit messed up, but and then it sort of didn't take off until the November low here. But you know, it's basically in the same bunch as everything else, you know. So I see the markets as being positive. So it's highly likely that Bitcoin is, you know, lining up with the rest of the markets as well. And so the question really becomes, you know, when to buy. You know, that's the that's one of the main things. And you know, to be honest, I don't think that it's such a big deal. You know, I mean, Bitcoin, soon as more regulation comes in, the better, because then you're going to get some institutional buyers come in, and soon as the institutions come in and start buying $50 billion or $100 billion worth of Bitcoin, you know, that's over at that point, isn't it? You know, if we're going to see the markets, this Bitcoin market, you know, take out the previous highs at that point. So buying it at 25,000 or 20,000 or 15,000, or waiting for an extra 1,000 here or there, I don't think it's a big deal. But my job really is to, you know, I don't see this 5 waves up here, this 1, 2. We could have 3, 4 and 5 at the moment, or we could have it like this, and we could have it like this. But this will be, you know, these will be the last, this here will be the buying, you know, this is when the horses left the corral at that time, you know. Yeah, so this one here, that will be it at that point. That will confirm a bullish market, but I don't think we need to really wait for that too much. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I don't really have any answers, just sort of having a chat if you're bored, really.